There's two things that you said, Jerry has said before, and one of them was footloose and fancy-free, and the other was felt like a good idea at the time.
Seemed like a good idea at the time.
Yeah.
Feel the letting himself off the hook, letting everybody off the hook. No explanation, no regret, no apology, no defensiveness, no justification or rationalization, no resistance.
Okay, and I think we might swing back to that. Let's see. But,
yes.
Pollyanna. We have the good fortune of traveling with a really nice lady that we've known for some time that we met at a prior event. And she really encompasses Pollyanna at such a high level. And we know her very, very well on an emotional but also vibrational level. And her ability to create is leading edge of the leading edge. And she
just expects things to go well, and they do. Is that the definition of Pollyanna?
So I would like to, I guess, discuss that with you, the definition. But meeting my wife, who was up here, and we're very happy to have attracted a wonderful baby girl that's the 19 months old. She also is, in her coming into the world energy, very Pollyanna, very happy, smiling, interested in everything. And my wife has done a wonderful job to keep that and create that in her life.
A lot of people would not want to foster a Pollyanna child because they would say this child is not going to be prepared for the hard world that is waiting. But there's not a hard world waiting for a Pollyanna child.
Yeah.
You're bringing us to maybe the most important heart of the discussion about the law of attraction or about your point of attraction, because you have a practiced vibrational offering and the law of attraction is responding to it, and that represents, or that is the reason for what comes back to you. So if you're offering it deliberately, you have control of your life. If you're just offering it by default, you have no control. So if you're wanting to foster a child in a way that they will be most in happy control of their life experiences, you want to shine a light on the moments in time when you know that they're tuned in, tapped in, when their mood is high, and you want to not give your attention or your emphasis to the injustices in their world. So here you have non-physical energy, this little child coming into the physical world, and you don't, most of you, really trust that world to take good care of your child, because as we've already discussed here today, most of them are not on the leading edge, and most of them are not deliberately tuned in, tapped in, turned on. Most of them have these requirements or things they want to demand of each other. And so they keep demanding of the new parent, teach your child in the new way. In other words, that's the trending of the cultures that happens so much. And so this leading edge environment in which you are all living right now, can you feel how those cultural things are being softened? How there's more of a blending as more and more people are allowing themselves to be self-guided rather than externally guided. It's really quite interesting how humans want so much to get it right that they're looking for rules. And they want so much to find rules that they're worried about it. And from their worried place, they create rules and religions that are nothing like what non-physical is like. So they actually train you away from your own guidance system as they try to replace your guidance system with something that doesn't work nearly so well. But every now and again, someone is born with such an intention to be immune to any of that persuasion that they stick out in very odd ways, and everyone calls them Pollyanna.
Okay. Circling back.
Yes.
Footloose and fancy free. Jerry talked about he didn't want to have his foot tied to the ground at a certain point. So being footloose and fancy free was important.
Jerry said something along those lines to Esther He said, this is what I've decided for me. I will never work for anyone, nor will anyone ever work for me. And Esther said, okay, until there was so much work to do. So many moving parts. In other words, that was completely impractical. But he didn't mean, I don't want to be a co-creator, or I don't want to be a mentor, or I don't want to play with others with a common intention. What he meant was, I don't want to be in any kind of bondage, and I don't want anybody else to be in any kind of bondage because of me. It took a while for him to accept that there is only one kind of bondage, and it's emotional bondage, it's vibrational bondage, and it's all self-inflicted every single time.
So then it seemed like a good idea at the time, and that brings that work and this feeling.
Seems like a good idea at the time, because then I didn't know that, and so I did the best that I could do at the time. And never working for anyone, nor anyone ever working for me, was the best way that he could stay feeling free until his life experience changed, and then there was another kind of bondage, like never getting to go to bed. Never being able to stop action. Or giving up something that he wasn't willing to give up, which was the expansion of this.
And so when Jerry was talking to us here and I raised my hand and got chosen, what's he saying now from the perspective he's in? What would he give as the placement to people that have some wonderful ideas that seem good at the time and continue to seem good, and Footloose and Fancy Free, bringing that together? Does that make sense?
What he wants to say to you is, I was more resistant through much of my life than I knew, but I didn't know it, so I couldn't do anything about it. So I have to let myself off the hook about what I didn't know then that I do now know. And I, this is Jerry, would recommend the same to you. Let yourself off the hook for what you don't now know. Don't demand of yourself to be on the leading edge. Ask one thing of yourself. Am I happy now? Am I happy now? Am I happy now? Am I happy now? Am I happy now?
And then Jerry, he had this amazing calling and asking, which called through even Esther's openness to bring in Abraham.
As Jerry was coming through life experience, and he's appreciating your awareness of him and not wanting to spend too much time in this direction, but this is an important thing to make. It comes back to the question that we had earlier that we spent some time on about what exactly is the leading edge and all of that. And so the thing that Jerry knows now that he didn't know then, Jerry was a goal setter, and Jerry was diligent about keeping his goals. And he wants us to tell you this story, because this story will give you everything that you're looking for here. It explains so much. It explains all of it. Jerry thought it was a good idea to set goals. He knew Esther. She was a part of an organization with him. And they had some occasional dinners together at Jerry's house. And he had some place cards for people. And since Esther was often there, he kept her same place card and just put it out each time she was there. One day, he was looking for a card that he could put into his wallet for indicating his goals. Now you know that part of the story. Now, fast forward to several years later, and Jerry and Esther are married. They're traveling in the monster bus, which means they've been together quite a long time. And Jerry takes that card out of his wallet that he'd been carrying for a very long time and opened it. Now it's a place card, so it folds like this. And he opened it up and he was saying to Esther, look at this, look at this. I don't know what year it was I put that on that, but that's been accomplished. And look at that. I don't know what year I put that on, but that's been accomplished. This had been in this wallet for a long, long time, and he hadn't looked at it in a long, long time. So he's looking down the list, and everything on his list was now his life experience. And then he folded it to put it back in his wallet, and it had Esther's name on it. And he didn't choose the card for that reason. He said, I remember just fishing in the drawer and thinking, oh, this is a good feeling one. And Esther said, I'm glad you didn't pick Estelle Collier's card. So the importance of this, the point that he is wanting to express to you, is that everything that you want is being satisfied, even if it's not consciously at the forefront of your mind, because you've put into your vortex the things that you really care about, and things are always working out for you. And so what that experience, Esther couldn't believe it. She said, really? You didn't know that? He didn't realize it. He didn't know all of those years. He said, I was carrying you around on my goal list. I was carrying you around on my goal list and not even knowing it. Well, what does that tell you? That tells you that his inner being knew what was in his vortex, and his inner being knew what the path of least resistance was, and his inner being knew that Esther was an important part of what he was looking for, that Esther was born to do the work with him, that he was born to do the work with her, that it was something that they'd made an agreement about. That was all in the vortex before either one of them were born. What he didn't know is that when he fished through that and got that card out with the intention of identifying what he wanted in his life, that she was a part of that too. And so as that all comes to fruition after the fact, doesn't it let you know that things are always working out for you? And don't you want to have things like that happen to you? That's what we were talking about this leading edge, where the manifestations start happening that let you know that you've been on track the whole time, even when you did not know that. That is Jerry's message to you. You're on track even when you don't know that you are. You're on track even when you don't know that you are. And if you can say that to yourself, I'm on track even when I don't know that I am. I'm on track. I'm worthy even when I don't know that I am. I'm in the perfect place at the perfect time, even if I don't know that I am. In other words, the well-being is mine, even if I don't know that it is. I'm in the right place at the right time all of the time, even if sometimes it isn't where I think I want to be. I'm doing the best that I can. It seemed like a good idea at the time. It's time to just accept yourself where you are right now, because now is where all of your power is. As we're talking about all of these things, for many of you, it's something that you want to achieve. We want you to accept that you've got it right now. We want you to tend to your mood now, because your point of attraction isn't going to be tomorrow. It isn't the next day. It isn't 5 years away. It's in this moment, in this moment, in this moment. In this moment, you're going to send your trending that away or that away. You're going to resist or you're going to allow in this moment. In this moment. So these moments are so important. Your now is so important. How you feel is so important. Now, right 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 now. Right now. There's nothing other than right now. There is nothing other than right now. Because right now is where the junction of you and you is. And how you feel lets you know how you're doing. And so nothing is more important than now. It's all now, now, now. And what is it that you want to be right now? You want to be having fun, or you want to be feeling full, or you want to be feeling eager, or you want to be feeling frisky, or you want to be in love with something, or you want to be appreciating something, or you want to be looking at the positive aspects of something, or you want to be wondering about something, or remembering something pleasant, or focusing on something. There's so much beauty and deliciousness for you to be experiencing right now, right now, right now. But you got to sort of tune yourself to it a little bit and say, well, it seemed like a good idea at the time, and I was doing the best that I could all the way along the way, and I'm doing the best that I can do right now, and everything's all right. We want you to give up your guilt and give up your shame and give up your disappointment and give up your fear and give up any of those things that don't feel good and go after right now. And you can get it now. You might not be able to get $1 million right now, but you can get happier right now. You might not be able to heal yourself from that diagnosis that they gave you, that they tell you is not even getting riddable, but it is get riddable. Everything is get riddable. If you want to get rid of it, everything is. You might not feel like that you can do that, but you could change the subject. You could find more ease. You could feel a little better. You could feel a little better. You can improve your mood every single time. And that's what being on the leading edge is. It's knowing that you have control of your mood, which means you have control of your point of attraction, which means you have control of fulfilling all of your intentions, those that you were born with. Like Jerry and Esther coming together and all of you coming and playing with us here. Things that were set into motion before you even came into this physical body. And things that you just thought of yesterday, because until yesterday, it wasn't even on your radar at all. Good time for a segment of refreshment.